Hi, this is a video that will sort of help you if you need to refer back to anything that is connected with today's task. So, we're starting a new unit on area multiplication, and now we talked a bit a while back about perimeter. Perimeter is sort of like the fence. So it would be the distance around an object, whereas area is the space inside of an object. And if you want to figure out the space inside of an object, let's say something like this, that's 2 by 5, you would look at basically how many squares are the in the rectangle. So just like the day before we worked on arrays, that's what we're really looking for. So in this case, you can see that there are 2 rows of 5 and 5 rows of 2. Okay, so and that would cover that space inside the rectangle. So we would write that, or we would figure that out as 2 groups of 5, which is 10. Okay. So if we were using our base 10 blocks, like we did before, looking at arrays, we can see that we have 3 columns of 2. Whereas if we flipped it and turned it the other way, then we'd have 2 columns of 3. Okay, but it would be the same amount in each image. Okay, so that's what we're really going to be taking a closer look at today, is that area based on rows and columns. Okay, so it is a two-dimensional modeling. So now to help us kind of wrap our heads around this, we're going to think about it in terms of tiling a floor plan. Okay, so I'll be giving you different rectangles, and you're going to cover those rectangles in tiles. Okay, so usually when you tile a floor, you have a few choices. They will often come in sheets because they're the little tiles, right? And so you don't want to be placing 100 little tiles because that would just take forever and be not very efficient. And so we always want to be efficient if we can. So instead of individual tiles, these tiles that you're going to be tiling with today are going to come in sheets. Okay, so there'll be a sheet of 100, a 10 by 10. There'll be a strip, and there'll be individual ones. So the sheet of 10 by 10 you'll recognize as the flat in our base 10 blocks. And then our strip is going to be a 1 by 10, which is like our rods that we've been dealing with all year. And then we have our 1 by 1. So you're going to have to decide which is easier to tile with based on the rectangle that you're given. So if you had these 2 sort of rooms, I guess we'll call them, one's a 3 by 10, and the other one is a 3 by 4. Okay, so in that 3 by 10, I know that a length of 10 would be is going to be, I don't have to do individual ones there because I already have a strip that is 10 long, right? The base, the rod. So I can put one of those, will fit nicely in there, but my side length is 3. So I would only be able to place 1, 2, 3 rows of that, and then the whole rectangle is tiled. Now in this other room, if you can see, the one length is 3, okay? And that top is 4, I'm told. So I'm gonna have to use my 1 tiles and place those in there. So if you notice, I still only have 3 rows because I want the tiles to only be a width of 3. Okay, so that would be it tiled. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to then place how many tiles are in each section and to figure out the total of them. So in that first with the rods, there are 3 rows of 10. So that's going to give me 30 tiles. And in the other one, I have 3 groups of 4, which is going to give me 12. So I could just add those up and figure out my total area and the total number of tiles that I used, and that would be 42. So once again, you're going to add your 30 plus your 10, which would make 40, and then 2 more. So in total, if you notice along the top of that rectangle, it's a distance of 10 plus 4, which is 14 by 3. So this is a floor plan that's a 14 by 3 floor plan, and I know that the total is going to be 42 tiles. Okay. Next situation that we have is along the top, I have a length of 13, a 10, and a 3. And then along the side, I have a 6. So I can once again use my rod to fit in there. And I would need, according to my side there, I would need 6 down. Okay, so that's going to fill a 6 by 10 space. Now, a 6 by 3 space is the other one beside it. Okay, so I'd need 3 across and 6 down. Okay, so I can go ahead and place how many tiles are in each rectangle. In the 6 by 10, that's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 tiles. And then I could count by 3s, or I could think of it as 6, 6, 6. So that's going to be 6 plus 6 is 12, plus another 6 is 18. Okay, because you can look at it in either rows or column, it's going to be the same amount. So whichever is easier is the best way to do it. So in order to figure out how many tiles in total or what the area of both these rectangles are, I would just add. So 60 plus 10 is going to give me 70, and then 8 more is going to give me 78 tiles. So that gives me in a 13 by 6 rectangle, so in the whole entire rectangle, so both rooms added together, that's going to give, I'm going to need 78 tiles in order to cover the space. Okay, all right, here's another one. So same idea, okay, except the only thing that's different is now the width is no longer 10, but 20. Now, am I going to be able to use my 100 block? The 100 block is 10 across, so I could fit that portion of it, but it's also 10 down. And in this rectangle, I only have 5 down. So I don't think I'll be able to use that biggest 100 block or 100 tiles in this space. So I'm going to go with the next one that could fit, and that would be the rods. Okay, because I definitely don't want to use the ones for this, I'm pretty sure. But because it's 10, each rod is 10, I could actually fit 2 of them in that space. Okay, so I have now 20 across the top, and now I need 5 down. So I'm going to repeat those 2. So when you're copying and pasting, don't make extra work for yourself. Okay, duplicate that row and then paste them down. And I'm going to need 5 of them. Okay, and then in the other space, I have a 3 by 5. Okay, so I'm going to need 3. Oh, I think I recorded how much. So how many tiles is that? So that's going to be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Okay, and then now I'm going to tile the other room, and I know I have 3 across, and I'm going to need 5 down. So there's my 5 down. And once again, I don't like counting by 3, so I'm going to count by 5s. And I have 3 rows of 5. So 5, 10, 15. Okay, and that's going to then add together to give me 115 tiles. So across the top, 23 by 5 floor plan or rectangles, I would need 115 tiles. So that would be the area of both of that big rectangle. Okay, this one, right. Okay, now I have a 20 by 10. This one's going to be nice because now if I have a 10 across and a 10 down, at least I can use those 100 blocks. So I'm going to throw in that 100 block, but I still haven't created 20 across. So I would need another 100 block. So now I have 20 across and 10 down. And then the other space that's there, I would be needing to use the rods. That would be the most efficient. I wouldn't use the ones because that would be very inefficient because I've already got a length or a height of 10, so I can just use the rods in there. So this one makes it really easy to tile because I can use lots of attached tiles. Okay, so I can see very quickly that how many tiles are in that first rectangle, and I know it's going to be 200s. And then in that other section, it's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40 in there. So the total number of tiles that I would need to use is 240. Okay, so in a 24 across by 10 down, I would need 240 tiles. Okay, now this one has a few more rectangles going on here. Now the 20 across, that we did before, and there's more than, it's going to be 20 down too, so I can definitely use those big tiles. Okay, so I'm going to stick those in there. Okay, I can use 2 down, and I can actually use another 2. Okay, so that's lovely. That makes it really easy to tile that really big room or big rectangle. So I can clearly see that that's going to be 400 tiles. Okay, so now in the room next to it, I still don't have to use those ones because I still have a length of 10. So I should definitely be able to use the rods, but I won't be able to use the plates. So I'll have to use the rods. And I know it's going to be 4 across, but I can see that I also need to fill in that space underneath, which would be another 4 across. And that's going to give me 80 tiles. And then in the one underneath here, the 3 by 20, once again, I will be able to use the rods because it's long enough. Okay, but that's just 10 across, so I need to go 20 across, so I would need to put in another 3 there. Okay, so that's going to give me 60 tiles. And then in that small room, neither dimension is bigger, or neither side is bigger than 10, so I have to use those ones. That's all I can do. So I'm going to do 4 across and then 3 rows of that. Okay, so that would be a 4 by 3, which is going to give me 12. So now I would have to add all of those up. So I know that I have 400, and 80 plus a 60, let's see, 8 plus 6 is going to be 14, but I don't have an 8 and a 6. I have an 80 and a 60, so I got to shift everything up. So that's going to be, instead of 14, 140 plus 400, which is 540, plus 10 more, which is 550, plus 2, 552. So 552. Now you could add a cross in the columns like that. That works too. But yeah, that's going to give me, so how you add that up is up to you, whatever works for you. Okay, so 552. So now I have a 14 by 23 rectangle, a big 14 by 23, oh, sorry, 24 by 23 rectangle. And that's going to be an area of 552 tiles. Okay, so as you can see, if there is 24 columns, 24 in each column, oh, sorry, 23 in each column, and 24 in each row. Okay, so then that big rectangle is going to be 552 units. Great. Okay, so this will be your job, is to go through and solve in the slides different situations connected to this idea. Okay, and if you get stuck, you can always come back to this video to help you. All right. Bye for now, and I will be available for any questions.